So today, folks, I'll be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's brand new movie, Old, which was released in the UK today. What did I think about it compared to the IMDb score of 6.0? Well, stick around and I'll tell you after these awesome opening titles. Now, Old boasts a really amazing cast. You've got Gael Garcia Bernal, Rufus Sewell, Aaron Pierre, who I thought was excellent, and the up-and-coming Alex Wolff. There are so many great cast members in here, but let me get to how this film begins. Now, I will not be talking about any spoilers here, but I'm just going to be giving you my impressions about what I think this film was about. So when we do see the beginning of this movie, now I've got to say one thing, the trailers was slightly misleading because we see this group of strangers band together on this really beautiful beach, which by the way was shot in the Dominican Republic, and what the trailer does not show you is how these people actually get there in the first place. So when the film opens, we see Gael Garcia Bernal and his family driving in their Jeep to this mysterious hotel resort, which they found online. Has anything in the 21st century convinced you not to fall for any tricks online where it's too good to be true? So I guess that's something that has to be, I guess this is kind of like a forewarning of what is about to happen. I mean, we kind of have seen it in the trailers already. Now, I've got to say, the hotel staff are pretty creepy. Most notably, Madrid, played by Francesca Eastwood. Yes, Clint Eastwood's daughter, who he fathered with Frances McDormand. No, it's not Frances McDormand, it's the other chick. Frances somebody. Whatever. Look it up on IMDb, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's kind of a really, I don't know what it is about the staff at this hotel, but all the staff had this kind of Stepford Wives thing about them. There's so many eerie echoes of like The Wicker Man from 1973. I kind of got shades of that. So anyway, they book into the hotel, everything seems fine. And then we see that Gael Garcia Bernal and his wife are having some marital issues. And then before you know it, everybody is at this beach because it's meant to be like a secret that nobody else knows. But then these collective strangers do turn up in one fell swoop. And it's like, wow, what's going to happen here? Now, you've seen the trailer already, what happens. You know, the two kids go into this cave and they come out years older in a very short space of time. Now, I've kind of got three theories about this, the rule of three. So one of them, I think time travel is an element. Now, this particular section of the island is the only part of the island that seems to be affected by this time anomaly. And man, it's really bizarre because you know what? This kind of reminds me of the island in Lost. If you ever saw that show, like the island will not let you leave. And there are elements of that in this film, I will say that. But because time accelerates age, it also accelerates the way you think. It's just pretty messed up. Rufus Sewell has this pop quiz question, which I knew the answer to straight away, but nobody in the audience I was with at the View in Leicester Square had no idea. Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson starred in which film together? I knew the answer straight away. Now, this is a question that his character asks about 3 or 4 times in the movie. Now, I'm wondering if anybody knew what the answer was. Would that have broken something in the chain of whatever was going on? It's really weird. Now, M. Night Shyamalan does pop up as a driver in this film. It's not the first time he's appeared in one of his own films. You know what? That guy's a pretty good actor. I don't know why he doesn't do more acting roles, not just in his films, but other films. I'm pretty sure he has done, but he's a very sizable actor, man. Like, the guy did obviously study his craft before he broke onto the scene. So I thought that was great. I would say the second element that I kind of get hints about is that There might be a bit of a Bermuda Triangle, Philadelphia experiment thing going on here. Now, if you know anything about the Philadelphia experience, it was back in the 1940s where the Americans are developing this radar that could make their ships vanish and then reappear somewhere else in time. But apparently what happened when this occurred, all the crew members were absolutely crazy and said they saw things like devils and everything coming towards them, if you want to believe that stuff. Now, one of the more refreshing things about this movie, like with the kids especially, is that everything is kind of down to basics. I mean, they use paper and crayons here. No kids have iPads or iPhones or games consoles. It is very basic. And I think that one of the messages that this film kind of gives in respect to that is that in real life, kids just grow up too fast now. They're given electronic devices before they're 10 years old, and they just have no scope to learn what it is to be a child, innocence, all that stuff. But I think when you give kids those electronic devices, their innocence is kind of stripped of them already, as it were. And I think this film kind of reminds us that, as time goes by quickly, you might not get to appreciate certain things that you wished you could have back in the real time, as it were, if that makes any sense. Now, Aaron Pierre as mid-sized sedan, for me, he's one of the guys that really stood out. He's a very mysterious figure on the island. I'm not quite sure if he's the cause of what's going on, but very soon we see other crazy things happening. It is pretty mad. Do I think that M. Night... Now, I'll tell you what, I will say I did guess what the actual mystery behind this film was. Like halfway through the film, something kind of gives itself away, and I said to my buddy, oh, it's blah, 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 blah. And I was 50% right, but then the other 50% is what I didn't see coming. So when you do find this revelation, it's like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Like, you've got this first half of the mystery box where you go into that cave and crazy things happen, but then you have this second half of the movie where there's actually a purpose to it. I'm not sure how many people who've seen the film will actually feel about it. It does kind of make sense. It is kind of topical to what's going on in the world right now. So whether M. Night had that in mind when he made this film is maybe on purpose, maybe it was an accident he thought about writing it. So yeah, when I say it's in relation to today, I'm talking about the pandemic specifically. I think this film ties in with that. That is by no means a spoiler. It's like, I think at the end of the day, like with any M. Night film, it is up to you what you walk away with. I will say with the crayons and paper element that is thrown in earlier on, that is pretty much the code breaker of the movie, and it's not going to blow you away in terms of, oh my god, is that what it was? But you're left thinking, that's the answer, really? And I'm like, I need to kind of research that because I know where they're going with it. I kind of know why that was mentioned. I mean, as a very good friend of mine pointed out to me, if you've seen the film Signs, there are various things that not just the alien appearing in the house at the end, but there are various signs before that all happens, like the asthma and the dust and everything else. So, and again, this film kind of taps into those elements, but it does it in a slightly different way. I don't think M. Night has actually lost his touch. He came out with a very good film. I think everybody in the cinema enjoyed it. The buddy I went with, he loved the film. I did say to him it's a psychological horror, which it is. There are some brutal moments in the movie, but it's nothing to make you cover your eyes with. Rufus Sewell was great as the doctor, who kind of has this gradual mental meltdown. So funny and just so eerily creepy at the same time. In fact, the actual revelation to what's going on in the movie is kind of a two-pronged answer. So the first part of the answer, which again I'm not going to spoil for you, I was like, okay, but I thought there was a slight inconsistency with that, but then something else happens later on which kind of reinforced why that first part of the answer is kind of more or less, it makes sense. So at the end of the day, guys, what would I give Old by M. Night? What's my final hot dog rating? I would say for pure menace and a kind of a relevant message for today, I would have to say 3.5 out of 5 munchy, tasty hot dogs. So on that one, folks, I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Sorry, it's a review. It's not a reaction, but I'm kind of giving you my impressions anyway. If you enjoyed this video today, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I will see you on the next review, which is going to be Suicide Squad by James Gunn, and I cannot wait to tell you about that.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.